All right, here we are again. Thanks for joining me. How are y'all doing tonight? You good? All right, we are going to continue to talk about Mary Gilbert and Sarah Gilbert, Shannon Gilbert's mom and sister. I made a super short video earlier, but I had a tickle in my throat, an itch in my throat that I could not get rid of. So here we are again. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into what happened to Mary and Sarah Gilbert. And is Shannon Gilbert's mom and sister. And if you've been watching so far, you know Shannon Gilbert disappeared in May of 2010. How you guys doing? Okay. Just making sure everybody can have a minute to roll on in here. Come on in, start a chat. All right, let's talk about Mary Gilbert, Shannon Gilbert's mom. When Shannon vanished after about a 23-minute 911 call in Oak Beach, New York, police initially treated her as a runaway, not a victim. But Mary, her mother, refused to accept that. She immediately began calling police, asking for updates, and urging them to search the marshes and gated area community where Shannon was last seen. From the very beginning, Mary believed foul play was involved. When police failed to conduct a serious search, Mary organized her own efforts. She printed and handed out flyers, went door to door asking neighbors and potential witnesses questions herself. She pushed investigators relentlessly to look into the 911 call, the drivers, the clients, and the area Shannon ran into. She was unafraid to confront anyone, even high ranking officials. Mary realized the only way to force movement on this case was to make noise publicly. So she began doing every media appearance she could. She appeared on CNN, Fox News, NBC, CBS, ABC, local Long Island stations, Dr. Phil, 2020, 48 Hours, The Killing Season on A&E, and also the Long Island serial killer documentaries. Mary became the face of the fight for Shannon. In nearly every interview, she said the same thing. My daughter didn't just walk into the marsh and die. Someone did this. Her persistence kept Shannon's story alive. Mary repeatedly confronted Suffolk County police over what she called their slow response, mishandling of evidence, failure to release the 911 call, and their claim that Shannon died accidentally. Mary was known for showing up at crime scenes, briefings, and town halls to demand answers. She hired John Ray, the attorney who later forced the release of key information, private investigators, and forensic experts. Ray became a major voice in Shannon's case because of Mary's persistence. Together, together they argued that Shannon's death was connected to the Long Island serial killer case, not an accidental drowning. Without Mary, Shannon's case likely would have been left out of the Long Island serial killer investigation altogether. Even after Shannon's remains were found, Mary fought for the release of the 911 call. She insisted Shannon was murdered. She pushed for DNA testing and retesting. She traveled consistently all over New York, Long Island, Albany, and nationwide, interviewing on national TV every chance she got to keep Shannon's name public. She continued to do this for 6 years, nonstop. And then after 6 years, why was it only 6 years? Well, we have to talk about Shannon's sister. Shannon had a younger sister named Sarah. She had been struggling for years with severe mental illness, including psychosis, paranoia, and auditory hallucinations. Mary was actively trying to help her, taking her to appointments, trying to get her hospitalized, and caring for Sarah's young son. Sarah had become increasingly unstable, insisting that her mother was a demon and that voices were telling her she was in danger. On July 23rd, 2016, Mary drove to Ellenville to check on Sarah, something she often did because Sarah's symptoms were worsening. Mary came to Sarah's small apartment, and when she got inside, Sarah's paranoia reportedly escalated rapidly. According to police reports and later court testimony, Sarah was hearing voices telling her that Mary was dangerous and must be stopped. This was not the first time Sarah had expressed these delusions. She had previously claimed Mary was possessed or not really her mother. Inside the apartment, Sarah suddenly attacked Mary. Investigators said the attack was frenzied, fueled by hallucinations and paranoid beliefs. Sarah later told police she thought she was saving herself from what she believed was a threat caused by Mary being a demon. After the attack, Sarah herself called 911. The call was confused and disorganized. She told dispatch that she had killed her mother because Mary was evil or a demon. Her statements were inconsistent and clearly influenced by psychosis. Police and emergency responders arrived very quickly. When officers entered the apartment, Sarah was still there. She immediately admitted that she killed her mother. She was calm, detached, and still speaking in a paranoid, delusional way. Mary was already deceased. The scene supported that the incident had occurred entirely inside the apartment with no outside involvement. Police transferred Sarah to the station and then to a psychiatric evaluation. Her mental state was so disorganized that she was initially placed under suicide watch. During interviews, she repeated various variations of the same delusion that Mary was not her mother and that she was possessed, or that voices instructed her to act. The medical examiner confirmed that Mary's death was due to a homicide, and there was no evidence anyone else had been involved. Police quickly closed the case with Sarah as the sole suspect. She was charged with second-degree murder and criminal possession of a weapon. Despite her mental illness, she was ultimately found guilty because the court determined she understood the act and its consequences. She was sentenced to 25 years to life in New York State Prison. All right, and that's a little more detailed on what happened to Mary Gilbert and Sarah Gilbert. I'm laughing because my cat's zooming back and forth. And so that'll be the second half of part 5. Okay. So just to sum it up, on July 23rd, 2016, Mary Gilbert went to help her daughter Sarah, who was experiencing severe psychosis. Inside the apartment, Sarah suffered a paranoid break, attacking Mary, believing she was a threat, and then called 911 herself. Police arrived, arrested Sarah, and later she was convicted and sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. Okay, next time, I'd like to have a chat about the former chief of Suffolk County Police Department. The former chief of Suffolk County Police Department. Yeah, I made sure I got all those words out. In Long Island, New York, and how he ended the cooperation. He ended the cooperation with the FBI, his misconduct, the impact he had on the Gilgo Beach investigation. This is the former chief of Suffolk County Police Department and longtime police officer James Burke. That will be part 6 of the Long Island serial killer case series. If you guys don't have any questions, you guys got to start asking questions. Stop being so quiet. Start asking questions. Start a chat. All right, so next time we're going to talk about James Burke. He is the former chief of Suffolk County Police Department in Long Island, New York, and how he ended the cooperation with the FBI, his misconduct, and the impact he had on the Gilgo Beach investigation. And that will be part 6 of our Long Island serial killer case series. Well, y'all have a good night. You are awesome. Stay safe out there. See ya.